Genius is never understood in its own time. So said Bill Watterson's Calvin of Calvin and Hobbes fame, and I thought it was a real quote and not a punchline to a Sunday funny, and that's why we're opening with it today. But songwriter and Chi-Lite's lead vocalist Eugene Record might agree with that statement because his 1970s song, Are You My Woman, brackets tell me so, was only a minor hit in its own time, but responsible for a major hit 33 years later. Our story begins with R&B producer and songwriter Rich Harrison, who put together a beat using the Chi-Lites track that was universally disliked by almost everyone else who heard it. Quote, I had it in the chamber. I'd not really shopped it much because sometimes you do not want to come out of the bag before it's right. People do not really get it, and you will leave them with a foul taste in their mouth, said Harrison. When Beyonce called Harrison asking to collaborate on a track for her debut solo album, Harrison happily obliged and brought his unlovable beat with him. Beyonce did not like the, quote, sound so full of blaring fanfare, end quote, calling it too retro and insisting that no one in the 21st century was using horn riffs. Luckily for Harrison, Beyonce was distracted by other matters, namely shopping for a birthday gift for her fellow Destiny's Child member, Kelly Rowland. Beyonce accepted the sample under the condition that Harrison write the song while she went shopping. In just 2 hours, Harrison created the full instrumental track for the song, playing all the instruments himself, and knocked out the verse and hook, all while apparently suffering from an ungodly hangover. The producer wasn't the only one who was a mess, though. Beyonce herself was in surprisingly rough condition, which turned out to be a critical part of the songwriting process. Quote, the song talks about how when you're falling in love, you do things that are out of character and you don't really care because you're just open. The song came from me actually looking crazy one day in the studio. I said, I'm looking crazy right now. And Rich Harrison, the producer, was like, that's the song, said Beyonce. The combined efforts of Harrison and Beyonce would have made for a solid hit, but Beyonce made a last-minute decision to push the single over the top. The singer reached out to her then-boyfriend, Jay-Z. Quote, I asked Jay-Z to get on the song the night before I had to turn my album in. Thank God he did, said Beyonce. The lead single hit number 1 in the US and the UK, became the summer anthem of 2003, and was declared the greatest song of the 21st century by Rolling Stone in 2018. The song and album sent Beyonce down the path to insane mega superstardom with a fan base that is frighteningly crazy for the artist. Crazy in love. That's right, we're talking Beyonce's Crazy in Love on Cover Me. That's right, it's Cover Me, the only podcast that compares famous songs to their many cover versions to find out which one is ya boy. I'm your host, as always, The Snake, joined by my bony co-host,
Alex Mildenberger.
Alex Mildenberger. Do I detect a hint of like a rattly skeleton in
I know,
that
I'm
voice?
trying to make a rattly sound, and I can't think of how I can do that.
Just kind of like, that's not bad. I was going to suggest getting some mallets and hitting your rib cage, but...
Yeah, it's need a xylophone.
Yeah, you just need a xylophone. How you doing, Alex? What's new? What's poppin'?
What is new? What's poppin'? I mean, there's not a ton of new stuff, you know? We seem to be having a real spring, which is weird, because it's only March.
Yes, Fool's Spring, as they call it.
Fool's Spring, and I am a fool. But,
a fool in love
with you. I would like to rewatch Back to the Future. That's something I've been thinking about lately, so thanks for reminding me.
Not a problem.
Just gotta get those DVDs. Gotta like borrow the DVDs from. It's probably on Netflix, but I could borrow the DVDs.
It's definitely
from my
on Netflix or Prime Video. They seem to like trade it back and forth.
Yeah. Someone's gonna have it.
Someone's gonna have it.
Yeah, but yeah, not much else. Not much else new though. What's new with you?
Nothing's new, dude. There's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun.
It's all the same shit. It's just a different day.
You made a pizza. You showed me a picture of a pizza you made.
I showed you a picture of a pizza that I made. Sure, I'll talk about this pizza. So you saw the picture of the pizza. It was a little burnt.
Sure.
On the top there, some of those pepperonis. So we had a second pizza, more rectangularly shaped.
Okay.
That took a little longer in the oven, and thus had charcoaled these fucking pepperonis instead. So that was our leftover pizza. And what I did the day after that pizza is I spent my morning just shaving the tops off of those pepperonis. And then chopping up kind of thin and fine so I could spread them over. Because it was just like biting into half a sausage every time you came on one of these pepperonis on the pizza.
They gotta be good and thin.
Yeah. We were attempting a New York Sicilian-style pizza, folks, and wherein It goes dough, cheese, then sauce, then pepperoni. So the sauce has a lot of opportunities to get loose, and it certainly did when we made it.
Some loose sauce, yeah.
It was loose sauce. So
yeah, don't mind the easy sauce.
Hey, yeah.
In a situation like that.
But it was good sauce. We were using San Marzano tomatoes, muy authentico Italiano, but it's all over the place. That's me and my pizza making experience. Making pizza, unfortunately, not a great segue into talking about Beyonce, who's probably never eaten a pizza in her entire life.
Never.
Not once.
Not a pizza person. No, I'm sure she's had one pizza and no more.
I'm sure she has.
One single pizza in her entire life.
We're talking about
Beyonce Strike was not a pizza person?
I think because she is this, megalith, star.
Right.
And she has to be on stage dancing and singing and, doing flips and whatever. I assume that she has a pretty strict diet.
Probably, at least at points. I mean, I don't know if
even The Rock has a cheat day. You're right.
Yeah, The Rock has a cheat day where he can eat ice cream or whatever. I
assume. Yeah, ice cream.
He can eat something other than cod.
Yeah, other than broccoli and chicken.
So, yeah, I don't know. But I imagine she probably had some pretty strict dieting, at least when she was younger. And just because, the label would have that kind of power.
That's true.
To be no, you can't eat that, even if it's not a good idea.
She seems like she is in some way like a soldier of the music industry. I feel like she feels well disciplined. Her music is the epitome of pop.
Sure.
For all the good and bad that's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously she has a massive fan base. And so we talked about her before for Halo. This is our second time talking about her. And there's always a fear when we come to talk about artists like her, like Taylor Swift, because I'm not a fan. I don't dislike her music, but I'm not a fan.
Right.
And so there is, of course, the joy is that nobody listens. This is the plus side of nobody listening to the show.
Yeah, our audience doesn't care.
Our audience doesn't care. It's, so we're technically safe, but you never know when some member of the Bayhive is going to find this, and then we're going to get fucking crucified, dude.
Yeah, this will come back to bite you in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, exactly, right? Most people get canceled for, real crimes and, real heinous shit. Ours will just be Beyonce's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
We'll be Rich Harrison actually did most of the work on this, and they'll kill that man.
It is a very funny story. I really like the stories he came up with this beat and he liked it, this sample thing from this.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the song?
The Chai Lights.
Are You My Woman?
Man, tell me so. Yeah.
Which is it's just kind of pitched down the horns from that. And there's more to it, obviously, but it's primarily from that. And then showed it to her and she's I don't really like this. And then he wrote some lyrics. Although I'm going through it and it said she went and went shopping, right? Mm-hmm. And then he was writing the song. I guess that's just the verses then, because the rest of it the chorus and the refrain parts both come from Beyonce.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
And even those, in the stories you hear, it's Rich Harrison was collaborating with her on that. He kind of identifies it when she's looking in the mirror, and then they collaborate, come up with this
Right.
His fingerprints are all over this.
True. She was the one who made the sound or whatever. But he was let's use that.
Yeah. And it's very funny because most stories this dude had a killer beat and everybody wanted a piece of it. This one's he pitched down these horns and everybody fucking hated it.
Everyone thought it kind of sucked. It's also very funny because it feels like a very early 2000s attitude of it's the new millennium and we need things to be new.
Yeah, we're dropping things horns, at random.
That's the past. And then nowadays we're the past, that's everything.
Yeah, we're it's all about the past, brother. Everything needs to sound retro to some degree.
Yeah. But back
nothing
then,
new,
it was very different. It was no, it's the new millennium. We don't want to do those old things anymore.
Yeah, we had maybe just a touch of that space age idea where we're no, the future is now, dude.
Don't you see, Windows has 3D effects on the windows now.
Yeah, look at the new Windows logo.
Yeah, which probably didn't even exist yet. I don't know.
But it's pretty close to the start there. Somebody, it had leaked to the rich people. They knew what was coming.
Yeah, the wealthy. The very wealthy.
The wealthy knew about XP before the rest of us.
Fuck. But, yeah, it feels like that kind of attitude, especially to be like, horns are so passé, and it's like, that is not true anymore. Like, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, you put horns on something, that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if it's a 1970s sample, like, we people
kill each other for good 1970s samples now.
Yeah.
Since it's such a mined resource. It's like...
Yeah, it's like, if you can find something good that hasn't been used...
Yeah, I was just checking here. I guess maybe Beyonce was responding to the then what would have just died down swing revival of the 1980s and 90s, which would have had big horns in it.
Yeah,
so maybe that was also a big part of her being like, no, horns are back in the 1990s. We've already done the revival.
Well, I guess so. And now we're back again. But that was just a swing revival. Well, this is a bit of a swing.
This is a bit of a swing.
It's swingy.
You could call it a bop.
Call it a bop. A swing.
A swing. Do you like this song, Alex? That's the next question.
I feel like this is one of those songs that I've known for such a long time. Just like because it, played on the radio. It's been around for so long. I mean, it's, again, I feel like I have a similar attitude towards it to you. I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. I have such a neutral opinion of it. It's the same way if you ask me what I think about gravity. I'm like, it's
just always there.
It's just a part of living. I don't know.
But yeah, I don't have a strong feeling about this song, and part of that's probably because it was pop music at a time where I was really not following pop music and kind of rejecting it.
Yeah, 2003, I was 10 years old and really trying to find ways to become an elitist.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found them.
I found them, baby. Yeah, and one was denying pop music.
Yeah, one was definitely denying pop music. And, like, even, like, those instincts are still around. I hear this, I'm like, but what about the Shy Lights?
Yeah, I'm like, let's get back to the source.
Woman, Tell Me So. Like, what if you listen to the song from the 70s? But... yeah, it's but I do know a lot of people our age probably do really, really love this song. It was very popular. You were mentioning it was, did you say song of the decade or something like that?
Song of the century, my man.
That's
an early call in 2018.
Yeah. Which century? Like 2000 to 2100?
Yeah, that would be the one. 21st century.
Definitely early to call it. But a contender, probably.
A contender. And it is, if nothing else this week, it is a good sample.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those horns hit, and you're like, oh, yeah. And we'll talk about it more in the instrumentation, and maybe it's partially because it was done by a hungover man in the course of 2 hours, but it is, like, absurdly simple.
Yeah. And the idea of the song is in the title, which is... ideal, I guess. Yeah,
this is, and we even have Jay-Z verses on this, and it's surprising how succinct everything is.
Right. It's not, last time we talked about Jay-Z, it's like, and this is a reference to this, and this is a reference to this, and this is a reference to this, and this is more like, hey, did you read the trivia about, like, he improvised it in, like, 30 minutes or something?
Yes.
Is it 30 minutes?
I believe it was very, it might have even been 15. You might have doubled the time. 10 minutes, yeah.
So, yeah, at 3 a.m. And it's like, I assume when you're in that kind of a situation, you don't have as much time to really put in all of the meaning, Yeah,
because most of the lines are dedicated to being like, it's me, Jay-Z. Also, Beyonce is here. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, the song's also about being crazy. I'm very good at what I do. Thank you, I'm Jay-Z.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Good night. It's 3 a.m. Am I tired? I'm not going to tell you. You don't know. Doesn't matter.
You don't know. No way to know. And he's skilled. He's a good rapper. Well, it can never. So it works.
He's kind of known for not making mistakes, right?
Yes.
That's my understanding, is like he's known for coming up with things and being able to do them very well, very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Like cheating on Beyonce.
Which I assume he did well. I don't know.
I mean, she got a killer record out of it. He's still doing fine, whatever he does.
Yeah, well, he was certainly doing fine for a while.
What's the latest Jay-Z news?
I don't know. There's a bunch of P. Diddy stuff.
Oh, of course.
And he's like kind of semi-implicated in that, and so it's like it's coming out. It's all alleged. Everything's alleged.
Yeah.
But, Beyonce was pretty young when they met, and it's like, it's tough to know. We don't know.
Right.
So we're gonna observe. We're gonna wait.
We'll
and see.
observe. We'll see. But folks, Jay-Z did invent Tidal, so we have to salute him. Unfortunately,
that's true.
He is our president, and so we do use Tidal. No. We talked about Jay-Z before. He's also a businessman. He's a billionaire. He's not a good person.
Sure. Yeah.
You can be a skilled rapper and a bad person.
Yeah.
You could be a skilled rapper and mentally unwell. Look at Kanye West, who's just yay, and yet nobody respects that his name changed.
No. Everyone's like, no. We stopped listening to you a decade ago. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Probably they're not even sorry.
They're probably not. They shouldn't be.
Yeah. So that is very possible for Jay-Z at this point in time.
At this juncture. Luckily, we only need to talk about him in the context of how many nicknames he has for the most part.
Which is a lot.
Which is many. I guess partially because he was a drug dealer, which he also loves to bring up.
Sure.
Like the overlap between what we're going to talk about him today and what we talked about him last time on Empire State of Mind,
right?
Back in Entrepreneur Summer 3, back in business. It's a lot of him being like, I used to sell crack. And you're like, all right, man.
Cool. And it's like, this is a reference to like a drug thing or like a guy I knew.
And it's also his record label or something. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
With that, we teased the lyrics enough.
We have.
Let's get into the lyrics, which begin, yes, woo, ow, so crazy right now. Most incredibly, it's your girl B, yes, woo, it's your boy Young, you ready?
Yeah, so we're hyping up, right? We're introducing everybody. I do think it's fun. He doesn't really go by like Z.
Yeah.
Which would have rhymed with B. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's whatever. But I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, in fact, often the Z gets dropped whenever he's got a nickname. J. Yeah.
Or Young in this case.
In this case, yeah.
Which is not what I've heard.
We talked about him for his cover Young Forever, which was a sample of Forever Young.
Oh, and that's him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I could probably have heard that he's called Young before. You probably mentioned it to me, and I probably forgot.
Yeah. Well, that was like central to that cover, which was 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah. In one of our most popular episodes of all time.
Yeah.
No, wait. Young Forever. No.
Young Forever. No.
I'm thinking the other one.
You're thinking of Numb? Which also featured Jay-Z. Yes. Jay-Z, a constant on this show.
Yeah, apparently.
Come on the podcast, Jay-Z. Defend yourself. Alex has been making allegations.
Talking shit.
This is a hype up we get so crazy right now. Like you said, he kind of improv this on the spot. That sounds like, all right. That's like getting the gears rolling. You're like,
you ready?
It's so crazy right now. Crazy in love.
Crazy right now. And so we are. We are so crazy.
We're so crazy. He introduces who's on the track. It's Beyonce and himself. And then he asks you if you're ready. Which I guess the response is, no. So no, we're not ready.
No, and then no, yeah.
No, yeah. So this is, the one of the hooks. It's the refrain, like you said. It's more in response to the being crazy in love of the song. Like, I'm acting a fool right now.
Right, it's a problem.
Yes.
He says more stuff in the intro that doesn't show up in this.
It comes right after that. Are you thinking of History in the Making?
Oh, yeah, that's after.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, no, I see it is there.
Sometimes Genius gets it right. He says, History in the Making Part 2. It's so crazy right now. Again, on this kind of weak improv vibe, because he acknowledges that they've already come together to collaborate, so it's not really history in the making.
But it's happening again. It's still history. Again. We're still doing history.
Part 2.
I don't remember what the first one was, but this is part 2. And this one does have, the history.
Yes, their first one was Jay-Z's song 03 Bonnie and Clyde. Probably 03 Bonnie and Clyde. 03.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Nor do I.
I don't know Jay-Z songs, really.
I don't know Jay-Z personally.
I've never met the man.
Never met the man. Probably never will unless he comes on the pod to defend himself.
To defend himself against me, apparently.
You.
That'll go well.
Yeah, very easily. Like, Alex, don't say that stuff. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I won't. Like, I probably won't say it much more in my life,
Right, it'll be here and nowhere else, but unfortunately here it is recorded.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to think about this stuff, Alex. But that's your Jay-Z intro. A pretty boilerplate. A song is about to happen. We are collaborating.
Yes. And it's
Get
crazy.
excited. Yeah, and it's crazy.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oh, no. We bring it to Beyonce.
Yeah.
Verse 1, I look and stare so deep in your eyes, I touch on you more and more every time. When you leave, I'm begging you not to go. Call your name 2-3 times in a row. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, the idea behind the song, is she's in love.
Yes.
And that's making her do unusual things.
Yes.
And the song refers to those things as crazy.
Yes.
She's in love and doing crazy things. But also just the idea of being crazy in love means in love a lot.
Yes, very in love.
Very in love. So
she's so in love that she's doing things that are foolish and perhaps against her best interests, but she also doesn't care.
Yeah.
Because of how in love she is.
Because of the love.
Yes.
The love level, which is high.
It's high.
The high love level. Got to do my tongue twisters before we record, apparently.
Yeah, love level being a big one.
Love level.
But yeah, we get some classic love imagery, staring in your eyes so deeply. She's trying to touch him more and more all the time. She wants more contact.
It's also like it's a fairly new relationship.
Yes.
So the love is growing.
Yeah. We're in a period of rapid growth on the love.
Yeah. Always, they don't want to be apart. Begging you not to go. I also like the call your name 2-3 times in a row, like 2 or 3. Wow, that's a lot.
Much.
I wouldn't want to go more than 2 or 3.
No. With Jay-Z though, you can kind of swing it because you can be like, "Yo, Jay,
different
Young,
names.
J Hove."
Yeah, you can switch it up.
You can switch it up every time.
Every time.
But still, you're gonna look like a lunatic.
Yeah.
People see you doing that. They're like, "Oh, this person's desperate."
Yeah, because it does suggest some level of desperation, right? Because it's like normally you say someone's name and then you wait to see if they responded, but she presumably is not waiting and just really wants to get their attention.
Yeah. She goes on, such a funny thing for me to try to explain how I'm feeling, and my pride is the one to blame. Yeah. Because I know I don't understand just how your love can do what no one else can.
No one else can. Just how your love can do what no one else can.
Yeah, it's a weird phrasing.
Yeah, my pride is the one. Why is your pride the one to blame?
So I kind of figured this out. This is the weird parsing of the sentence, but it's a funny thing for me to try to explain how I'm feeling. Why is it funny? Because my pride is, I'm too proud to fully bear my feelings, so I do silly behaviors like try and touch you more and call your name 2-3 times in a row.
But there's pride involved.
The pride is she's not just fully saying like, "Oh my God, JZ, I'm in love with you." She's
doing the actions instead of just saying it.
Instead of just bearing it all.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't read that easily or that well to me.
Yeah,
but I get it.
It does make sense, and like you pointed out, they kind of split it up across lines.
Yeah, because she has to like sing it, and I guess they couldn't come up with a better phrasing for all of this. Because I know I don't understand. What I know is that I don't know just how your love can do what no one else can. Why your love is so unique amongst other forms of love I've experienced.
It's different.
Yeah, this shit hit different.
As we said in
As the kids say.
3.
Did we say it? Yeah.
No.
So you might be surprised. I bet the hipper people were already saying it in 2003.
I'm usually pretty far behind the curve, so...
Yeah, you're streets behind on lingo, usually.
Streets behind on lingo.
But yeah, that's verse 1. They're all the same. This in the sense that like it's always like, I am acting foolishly because I am in love.
Yeah. But, I mean, and that's what the chorus says, right?
Yes, got me looking so crazy right now. Your love's got me looking so crazy right now, brackets. Your love got me looking so crazy right now. Your touch got me looking so crazy right now. Here's the craziest one.
Yeah.
Got me hoping you'll page me right now.
Thanks, 03.
Your kiss got me hoping you'll save me right now. Looking so crazy. Your love's got me looking so crazy in love.
In love. Yeah, I mean, at this point, she's already kind of self-conscious about it, but clearly thinks that she's being people are noticing.
Yeah,
She's
which we
looking
get more
crazy.
of in the second verse as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, she knows that this is an unhealthy. It's kind of like Toxic by Britney Spears in that same sense.
A little bit. And
A little bit.
Again, she doesn't really care, you know.
Yeah.
And then, of course, other things. We've got these, like love metaphors / I don't know, synecdoche, where, touch is part of it. And, like, kissing is part of it. Like, all these little things, every time they happen, when we interact, I feel this way.
Yeah, getting paged.
Getting
an
paged.
experience we're all familiar
We're all
with.
familiar with paging. I do remember my dad had a pager for a while, and we were very fascinated by it.
That's crazy. I've never, I think, experienced a pager live in the flesh.
Because it goes beep, 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 and then you're like, oh, damn, someone needs something, maybe.
Yeah.
Or they can send you a short message, which is, I mean, we just do text messages.
Did you ever check it, and it was just like 58008?
58008. We never did that. I don't even know how the messages worked. I don't know if it was like a speech to text kind of thing or what.
If I understand, my understanding of pagers,
it's like one pager can page another pager.
Yeah, you can page another pager, and typically there was number combinations that were understood to be certain messages. And I know this mostly from that episode of BoJack Horseman, wherein he has a girlfriend who was in a coma for 20 years, and he gets her a pager so that they can page each other, because that's a form of communication she's used to. And then he goes through some of the number things.
Played by Lisa Kudrow?
Yes, of course. 90s icon Lisa Kudrow.
If I'm remembering correctly.
You are remembering correctly. And so there were like certain, she like goes over them. There's certain numbers you can text that mean certain things, like call me or I love you or etc. But in terms of like, that's where my knowledge begins and ends.
Yeah. Okay. So just that it exists.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. And like, as we mentioned, early 2000s, pagers were like this cool new thing. Mm-hmm. And now they're retro, but not back then. Back then it was like, we were building to smartphones, but smartphones were still about 5 to 10 years away, like 5 years before, I think, the iPhone, and then like 10 years before they really proliferated.
Yeah.
But, you know, we were itching for something like that, and flip phones were definitely starting to, I'm going to say proliferate again. Yeah.
They were emerging.
Yeah. Like, I think
hitting the scene.
Would she have had one around that time? Not quite yet, but close.
Popularizing.
Yeah, and everyone wanted like a Motorola Razr or whatever.
Yeah, I remember seeing ads for the Razr, and of course I was a child, but I was like, fuck yeah, dude. They named this phone after a knife. Yeah, does it have Snake?
That's what I wanted to know.
Hell yeah.
Can I play weird soccer game like on my mom's phone?
Well, I was sick when you were like waiting somewhere, and your parent was like, here, play a game on the phone. You're like, fuck yeah.
Can I buy a game for $1.29?
Yeah, you're like, no. It's $1.29. They're like, no, people will steal my credit card.
Yes.
Okay.
Reminiscing. So this was probably playing on the radio while we were waiting.
Probably. It was playing everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
But yeah, a line. So the good thing about this line, some people might say like, oh, got me hoping you'll page right now. It doesn't age well because we no longer page people. But in fact, that only makes her crazier. If in the year of our Lord 2025, she's still hoping for a pager.
Waiting for a page.
Yeah.
Did we even, I don't even, like, I know we make pagers because there was that whole thing in Lebanon recently where the pagers exploded. So obviously people still use pagers, but like they're not very common here.
No. Certainly not.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to bring it back.
Well, apparently they explode sometimes. So.
Hey, don't see that as a negative.
Yeah. It's just, you know.
You got to take risks with technology, you know?
With technology, yeah, exactly.
You got to be a risk taker. You got to...
That's why I'm all in on AI.
That's right, dude. I feel like photos should be worse and less realistic. That's why I'm pro AI.
What if writing was a little boring? What if...
Yeah, now I have an excuse to not read? Thank you, AI.
Please, yeah.
Please.
AI interpret the text, too. I don't want to hear a real voice.
Interpret the garbage text. Tell me what it is, and I don't have to listen to things either.
Yeah, and if voice artists didn't have a career, that would also be ideal for me.
Yeah.
For unrelated reasons.
I think Charles Martinet should be taken out in the streets and shot.
Yeah. Exactly. Glad he's not the voice of Mario anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, wait, I get, does he do any voice work now, or is he just Nintendo's Mario ambassador?
Mario ambassador. I think he still, I don't know if he's still like active, but I think he did other stuff besides that before, so I don't see why he would stop, but it seems like it'd be a pretty sweet gig. Anyway,
Do you think he'll ever show up in another, is it David Fincher film?
David Fincher film? That's a good question.
He was in a photograph in the game as Martin Sheen's father. Is it Martin Sheen in that? Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas. Damn, I gotta watch that again. I didn't realize that's who that was.
I don't even know how I came to know that fun fact, but
that's a very fun fact, though. I mean,
all this
for
to
us,
say, yeah,
we're
go ahead.
a little off topic, but that's definitely a very fun fact for me and you.
It's very people know and love Charles Martinet. Martinet,
Yeah.
I think, is because he's not actually French. But all this to say, we are pro voice artist, pro.
I was lying about all that other stuff.
A line, but just for everybody to understand, parody, satire.
Yeah.
No, we don't like
whatever
AI.
you want to call it.
Whatever you wanna call
Sarcasm,
it.
maybe.
Sarcasm. We're being facetious. Any other words that mean we don't like AI? Because I have an old man boss who's in love with AI, and I've never been closer to killing myself in an office place. Verse 2 begins when I talk to my friends so quietly.
Yeah, verse 2.
When I talk to my friends so quietly, brackets, who he think he is? Look at what you did to me. Tennis shoes, don't even need to buy a new dress. If you ain't there, ain't nobody else to impress. It's the way that you know what I thought I knew. It's the beat that my heart skips when I'm with you, but I still don't understand just how your love can do what no one else can.
Yeah. Hang on, I lost it.
That's okay. So
Let me
she's
find
talking to
it
her
again.
friends. I mean, the first part of this is
There we
very
go.
easy to understand.
Sure. About this
friends-
relationship.
Are like, how audacious is this man? The way
Yeah.
he is making you behave. Who does he think he is?
Yeah.
And she's like, they're right, because I'm not dressing up for things if you're not there.
Yeah, so she's like out with her friends, but she's like, I'm just wearing tennis shoes, which seems totally normal to me. I wouldn't dress up to go out with my friends either,
No.
necessarily, but apparently it's a big deal. Doesn't buy a new dress, no one to impress.
Yeah.
And that does rhyme.
That does rhyme.
And that it's the way that you know what I thought I knew.
Yes.
There's a lot of words in that line.
I don't know why it gets clumsier on the second half
Yeah.
of every verse.
'Cause the guy was hungover.
I guess. Yeah. He's like, I'll come back to this.
Yeah. We'll redo that. And then she just sang it. It's the way that you know what I thought I knew. So it's like, is he just telling her things that she already knows? Is that the idea?
Yeah. So there's a song. The best way I can understand this is with another song called The Whole of the Moon by the Waterboys.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's a song
No.
that's essentially a tribute to Prince, where he talks in many ways about how incredible Prince's accomplishments are. It's disguised
Sure.
in the song. You don't know about it until but so it begins in verse 1. He says, I pictured a rainbow. You held it in your hands. I had flashes, but you saw the plan.
Oh, so like he is making her dreams a reality.
Yeah, and so in this sense, she's saying he has knowledge that she thought she knew. So he has the whole picture where she had maybe like a vision of it. He's the real deal, and she just kind of had an idea of it.
Okay, I do. It is awkward, but she's kind of saying, "You make my dreams come true."
Yeah.
Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, that's about it. Like, it's like you brought more into my life. You make my dreams come true. Yeah. And there's an idea of us being on the same page because obviously she's thinking along the same lines as him. What I thought I knew is things he knows. So it's like there's some parallel nature there. It's the beat that my heart skips when I'm with you. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is a cool line because it's like, I mean, there's already a beat involved because we're doing music.
That's right.
But also like her heart skipping a beat. I don't think that the music does anything fun with that. Sometimes
no, I don't think so.
Actually skip a beat, but it doesn't. And then of course we end in the same way.
Yeah, similar, better worded than the first time around.
Yeah.
I still don't understand just how your love can do what no one else can.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy peasy. We get the chorus again. Is there new stuff in this chorus?
Just Jay-Z.
Oh yeah, and he's just so crazy your love. He's doing some like hype man stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then at the end says, "I'm warmed up now. Let's go." And then like he does his verse.
Yes, which begins like this: Young Hove. Does he pronounce it Hove or Hove? Because it's a play on Jehovah.
Oh, right. Young Ho. Let me see. Hang on. This is verse 3. It's about 2 minutes in.
Hit me with it.
Young. He does say Hove.
Hove. That makes sense. It's
Yeah.
Jehovah. Do you think if he played Final Fantasy VII and he was a big fan, he'd be J Nova?
J Nova?
Like Genova?
Genova. Instead of Jehovah?
Yeah.
Okay, Young Nov?
Weeb Jay-Z, is that a character we can work on?
Can we do Weeb Jay-Z? I'm trying to think of what he sounds like when he talks. We'll work on it.
We'll work on it. Put that one on the back burner. Next time Jay-Z comes up, we'll have it fully cooked, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Young Hove, you all know when the flow is loco, no. Young B and the ROC, oh no. OG big homie, the one and only, no. Stick bony, but the pockets is fat like Tony Soprano, no. The rock handle like Van Exel. I shake phonies, man. You can't get next to the genuine article. I do not sing, though. I sling, though. If anything, I bling, yo. A star like Ringo wore like a green beret. Oh, you crazy? Bring your whole set. Oh, Jay-Z in the range. Crazy and deranged. They can't figure him out. They're like, hey, is he insane? Yes, sir. I'm cut from a different cloth. My texture is best for chinchilla. I've been iller than chain smokers. Oh, no. How do you think I got the name Hova? Oh, no. I've been realer. The game's over. Fall back, young. Oh, no. Ever since I made the change over to platinum, the game's been a wrap one. So a lot to go through there. The flow is crazy because the song's called Crazy in Love. Easy.
Yeah, of course. It's loco.
Yeah. Young B in the ROC. Young B is, of course, Beyonce.
Yep.
The ROC, one, because, of course, JC sold crack rock. Two, his record label is ROC.
Rockefeller Records.
Rockefeller Records.
Which is apparently not around anymore.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, ROC.
The big homie, if you can believe it, another name for Jay-Z.
Another name for Jay-Z, yeah. Which, of course, I mean, also, it is a name that, like a title of endearment that comes up. It's like Big Brother, kind of.
Yeah.
I've heard it. He comes up every once in a while in like hip hop.
Yeah, being the big homie.
But it's also apparently specifically a nickname he uses.
He has, of course. And then
Stick Boney. I don't know about that.
Well, because my guess here is either he's doing some weird penis analogy we're getting at, or more likely, big homie he might think implies a fat man. But he's a man of thin nature, but his pockets are fat. Stick bony, but the pockets is fat.
Oh, that makes sense. He's thin, but not his pockets, because Tony Soprano is wealthy.
Wealthy and a more stout individual.
He's wealthy. He's a crime guy.
Yeah, he's a crime boss. Again, crime. We're linking it to Jay-Z, who I don't know if you knew this about him, but he used to sell crack.
Sell drugs.
By a McDonald's.
Yeah.
We get the rock handle like Van Exel. Van Exel, a basketball player.
That I've never heard of.
Me neither. So not part of that scene.
Apparently
Nick Van Exel.
Good at basketball.
And then, of course, the rock is also sometimes a term for the basketball itself.
Never heard that before.
I think I've heard it a couple times. It's not one of the most common you'll hear.
Sure. Certainly not.
B-ball sounds
I haven't
better.
heard it. Yeah, B-ball. Very easy.
But like I have heard, so I can confirm that Genius isn't totally off, because we are riding on Genius's coattails.
Oh, absolutely.
Folks. I'll admit to it.
There's too much here.
And then, of course, Genius also just crack rock back in his drug dealing days. And also, he just referred to himself as ROC fucking 3 lines ago. So
yeah.
So like Van Exel is good at ball handling, and Jay-Z is good at handling the situation.
Also good at ball handling.
Everybody here is good at ball handling.
It's all about balls. That's the Stick Boney.
Yeah, that's the Stick Boney and ball handling. I shake phonies, man. You can't get next to the genuine article. This, again, kind of basketball adjacent, because you can shake people who are trying to block you in basketball.
Sure.
So that's maybe that's kind of the bridge there to how he gets to this, where it's like, you can't keep up with me because I handle like Van Exel.
Yeah.
Again, I'm shaking the phonies.
Yeah, I can tell that you're not legitimate because I am so good.
Yeah.
Like, you just by being next to me, like it doesn't. It becomes obvious that you can't.
Yeah, a lot of the rest of it is like simply you cannot compete with Jay-Z is like the thesis going forward.
Basically. I also like how the genius annotation here is like, it could be a reference to the Catcher in the Rye. It's like, oh, maybe, but like phony is just a word.
Yeah, it's like I feel like it's
used a lot in that book, sure, but
sure. Of course, if you want to play that Catcher in the Rye, he then also references Ringo Starr.
Does reference Ringo Starr? That just seems like Ringo's catching like strays.
Yeah, I think it's just because Ringo has Starr in his name.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you wanted to really solidify a Catcher in the Rye reference, he'd mention Lennon.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would phrase that, but I'm not Jay-Z. So
I'm not Jay-Z. Listen, I can't do it.
I also like the genius annotation here. It's like clever pun right here. Like, is it though?
It's like it's a pun for sure.
It's a reference to Ringo's name, and it's a star, but
good enough reference to Ringo Starr. Yeah.
But anyway.
I mean, he did this in 15 minutes. Like, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Good for 15, yeah.
The genuine article I do not sing, though. Is there an old saying about something singing when it is, like, truthful or genuine?
Genuine? I don't know.
The fogginess of my brain says, like, maybe, but I'm not 100% sure. Because he pairs I do not sing, though, with the genuine article. This thing sings of the truth? Is that something people say?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't know of it. I haven't heard of that.
But then he, of course, says, I sling, though, like crack rock. If anything, I bling, yo, because he shines, which brings us into a star. He shines like a star, much like Ringo Starr, who's also famous, because he's one of the Beatles. Wore like a green beret.
Sure.
This is a bit weaker. I guess Green Berets go to war and are an advanced war unit.
Yeah, they're like soldiers.
That's why they get to wear the floppy hats. And then he's like, oh, you're crazy? You better bring everything you've got. Bring your whole set.
Whether that's like not as crazy as me.
Yeah, you got to bring everybody in your community. Like you got to bring the whole gang together because Jay-Z's in the range. He's crazy and deranged. These people can't figure my shit out. They ask if I'm insane, and I am because I'm cut from rich furs like chinchilla.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like allegedly a reference to Lauryn Hill and MTV Unplugged.
Yeah, I kind of took that and said, like, yeah, who cares?
Maybe. I've heard of that event. Apparently it was a big thing, but...
Right.
Yeah.
It's there. Some references in hip-hop are just, like, that deep, though, I find.
Yeah.
It's just so if you know it, you know it. And then there's other ones where it's, they're more linked with everything else, and that one feels more like it's like, hey, if you knew that was a Lauryn Hill reference, right on. That's why the phrase rings, but outside of that, it still sounds like rap. It sounds like you could call yourself crazy and deranged.
Yeah. Rhyme range with derange.
Yeah. Why not?
Hey, is he insane?
Hey, is he insane? Yeah, he's crazy, dude. He's on another level. He's cut from a different cloth. Yeah. The richest fur you can buy. Chinchilla.
Is that the most expensive? I guess chinchillas are small, so you probably need a lot of chinchillas.
You need a lot of chinchillas. He calls it the best fur right in there.
Yeah.
My texture is the best
and chinchillas, like, really dense. I know that. Because supposedly you can't get them wet because their fur is so dense, and they'll, like, mold or something. Like they bathe in, like, dust.
They bathe in dust.
Or something like... I have never owned a chinchilla, but I'm told that that's how... chinchillas work.
Gun to my head, couldn't tell you what a chinchilla looked like. Okay, I'm looking at them now. They're adorable.
Yeah.
Look at those little guys. That's so sad that we murdered them for their delicious fur.
Delicious fur.
Yeah, it's a taste thing, right? He says the texture's good.
Yeah, it's a texture. It's more of a texture thing than a taste thing, actually.
Yeah.
But been iller than the Chainsmokers.
He predicts a music act that isn't even around at this point.
The Chainsmokers.
And already claims to be better than them.
Yeah. Of course, he's referencing the fact that you get sick if you smoke too much.
Yeah, if you're chain smoking cigarettes, you're not a healthy individual.
Yeah, about not being healthy because he's smoking, so that's fun. I also think, how do you think I got the name Hova? I'm like, well, I don't know, but because he was good. Because it's Jehovah.
Yeah, Jehovah. And then I guess the answer to that is because he's been realer.
I've been realer. Yeah, he's been realer than everyone else. And then he talks to himself and says, fall back young.
Yeah, he says, fall back young. Perhaps the game's over.
That he's just like, yeah, like he doesn't need to go anymore. Like he's doing too much.
Yeah, he's both the guy who's like, let me at him, and the guy who's holding the back with his hand. You know, who's like, hey, it's not worth it, man.
Yeah, he's like, no, I've already he's already dead. Like,
lay off. Yeah, fall back, young. Ever since I made the change over to platinum, he got platinum records. He used to have gold, now he's platinum. The game's been a wrap. Won.
Yeah, which I see a bunch of potential meanings in Genius annotation. The only thing I see is like it's a rap as in it's over, but also it's the rap game because he's rapping.
Yeah.
Also, he has platinum records.
I've heard it's also shorthand for one love.
Like crazy.
Kind of like a way, like, you know how some people will leave and say peace. He's saying, hey, one love, and that's his way of saying goodbye.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, if nothing else, it means this is the end of the rap.
In the phrase,
yeah,
one love.
It's
okay,
in the
cool.
It's in
yeah,
the
it's
Genius
over.
annotation there.
It's a mic drop, kind of. Just saying goodbye. Yeah, you got to say goodbye at the end to be polite.
We move into Beyonce Bridge,
Bridge,
which is pretty similar to the chorus itself, but a little different. Got me looking so crazy, my baby. I'm not myself lately. I'm foolish. I don't do this. I've been playing myself, baby. I don't care because your love's got the best of me, and baby, you're making a fool of me. You got me sprung, and I don't care who sees. Because baby, you got me so crazy, baby.
So crazy, baby. Yeah, a little more of she's acting crazy, doesn't care because of all the love. She's so in love.
She says directly that she's not herself lately. She's doing things that are out of character. She's acting a fool. She's foolish. She's been playing herself.
Yeah, that's how foolish she's been.
Mm-hmm. And she doesn't care because the love is so good. I'm really zeroed in on "You Got Me Sprung."
Yeah, is that itself a reference?
Is to boners.
To boners. Well, I mean, I'm thinking "Baby Got Back."
Yeah.
Just probably the most famous piece of media that I am aware of that uses the phrase sprung though it is a general term as well.
And that's 92, so this would be 11 years later, and that would be, that would be in the popular consciousness.
Why would it be? I don't know.
You got me sprung, and I don't care who sees. Yeah, which if you read that on its own, like that works. It's like, I've got a big love boner for you, and I don't care who sees it.
Yeah. It's a love boner.
It seems so out of character for Beyonce.
To just say sprung out of nowhere. Right?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of like jail metaphor, like you can spring someone out of jail.
Oh,
right?
I see. Like you've set me free.
Yeah,
I could kind of see that. It's like you set me free from like normal reality, and now I'm crazy because I'm like gone beyond.
Yeah, I'm outside of the societal norms, and I don't want to go back. They can't take me back, man.
I don't think that's supported by the rest of the song, though.
I would agree with that because she spends so much time talking about the societal expectations and how she knows she is failing within those bounds.
Right. Although then saying here, I don't care who sees anymore, so maybe it is referencing that. Like, I was kind of worried. Like, I'm thinking about all these things, but now at the end, maybe not.
Maybe not. Regardless, the main thing to pull from this, because even whatever that line means, on a granular level, on the broader level, it means the same thing as everything else here.
Yeah.
She's in love and acting foolishly.
Yeah. And that might specifically mean very turned on.
Yes. Because naturally, she talked about your touch stuff earlier. There is a physical element to this romance, this love, for sure. The chorus, again, this is the outro chorus. Is there any new lines in here, Alex?
No. It brings back the paging stuff, but it's all just looking crazy. And I mean, she does some more singing, but it's not like words necessarily.
No. Yeah.
So that's it.
That's it. That's the song.
Yeah.
If you didn't know what it's about, try reading the title again, and it'll probably all piece together.
Yeah. Just try one more time.
Just try one more time. Just take a break, come back, and you might have a fresh perspective on it. But we got to talk about the instruments, which thankfully are pretty simple. Imagine some horns going.
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, there's really two sections.
Yes.
So it opens with the horns, very sudden.
Yes.
Opening with the horns. This is from the Shy Lights song. And then they put there's some drums in there, which are, I mean, it's part of the sample. Very cymbal heavy, but they also have a really heavy downbeat.
Yeah,
Like
there's
four on the floor kind
a
of thing.
bass guitar, I think, doubling that dum 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 dum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also pretty low. Of course, we also have Jay-Z in the intro, kind of hyping everything up.
Yeah, there's like some hype noises there, like some ow
Yeah.
kind of shit.
So crazy right now.
Yeah.
And all that. That's the first section. That's going to come back. But then it moves into what gets called a refrain in Genius. I don't know if that's what I would call it, but it's kind of the other section. It's the chorus instrumentation, right?
It's the verse instrumentation.
Verse,
isn't it?
Right, verse. Sorry. But this is the first introduction to it. There's no. Well, there are words. They're doing the oh no thing. But there's no like other words. And then so the drums get more like snare based and tom. It actually kind of sounds like there's some hand drums in there somewhere.
There's definitely a bit of hand drumming in there. It's really drum focused.
Yeah.
You got a kit drum going. It feels more like organic than the sample stuff, which it should.
Yeah, it's kind of this like. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I think it's the producer playing this. This is his instrumentals he put on.
Right, because there was a note in the Wikipedia page of like he played all the instruments, and I'm like, I thought it was all samples.
Yeah.
But you kind of get that more organic sounds. Like you hear the like hollow skin sound of the drums, and then like the kit as well. So it's kind of both of those.
Yeah.
As you get the oh no. And then we get a little bit more horns before we get into the verse, which of course
because we get that bonus Jay-Z, so it's boom back to the horns and then back to that drum kit. And that instrumentally is you just flip between those two switches for the rest of the song.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we get, right? Because like it goes into another chorus, same stuff, refrain. There's like a whistle sound I hear later on.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not much. You kind of have to listen on the right channel.
Mm-hmm.
And like you get some like weird, it might just be artifacts, honestly. But it kind of goes between there. I guess the other thing I will say is for the first part of the song, we kind of goes back and forth between the sections, pretty normal, A section, B section. And then we move through, once we get to Jay-Z's verse, it takes too long, basically. So he raps over a verse and then it goes into a chorus.
Oh, yeah, you can hear the switch at about 2:25. You'll hear it go.
Yeah, and then like back into the, I guess, refrain part because it still has the no-nos. And this is like at 2.5 minutes. So he keeps going and it like goes across everything. Yeah. And then that also happens with the following section, which is the bridge. So once you get into the bridge, it sounds. See, I wrote down chorus, but now I'm second guessing because I sometimes just do the wrong thing. So once we get to the bridge, it does stick with the chorus stuff, but it also extends into the following, like not chorus section. She keeps going into the verse instrumentation. So really, it's those two sections. But as we move through the song, it starts to not really care that those are the sections and then just do kind of its own thing.
Yeah, it's interesting because in terms of what you're getting varietally in this song, once we've laid out what the verse and chorus sound like instrumentally, there's not a lot different. So the most alteration you can do is have the singer continue their block of lyrics over a instrumental switch.
Right, into the next section, allegedly.
And it sounds good both times they do it. Like you can feel
cool.
an energy shift and it sounds like they're really working with the music, even though they're really just continuing to do what they're doing.
Yeah, and as simple as it is conceptually, you don't hear it very often. To just be like, no, we're just going to not pay attention to the change in section. It's very, normally you would do that, so it's kind of cool. I say we don't hear it very often. We certainly don't talk about it a lot. Maybe it's very common in some places.
And some places or genres, but yeah, it's certainly not something that comes up in our in our listening a lot.
In pop stuff.
Yeah.
Pop and rock, that's what we mostly do.
Pop and rock, baby.
And then I guess the other thing is you kind of get a little more from Beyonce as well. She's doing some like backups on Jay-Z's verse, and then once you move into particularly like the final chorus and then the outro which is the same thing, I think.
She layers a lot of vocals on. They're the same thing.
Yeah, and she's doing like runs and stuff, so you get a little more of that.
Yeah, I mean, this is Beyonce coming into her own and kind of asking the question, what if Destiny's Child was 3 Beyoncés instead of Beyonce and the other 2? And it turns out that's a really good formula for pop music success. Yeah.
Yeah, the other ones.
The other ones. Kelly Rowland and the third one. I only know Kelly Rowland's name because it came up in the fun fact history for this episode.
Is the other one Beyonce's sister?
Maybe is it Solange? Is she the third one? I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Destiny's Child.
Don't know.
Destiny's Child should have been the name of the second Destiny game. Kelly Rowland, Beyonce Knowles, and Michelle Williams.
Oh, I apparently just don't know. I don't know why I thought it was her sister.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. Apparently there were as many as 6 different members of Destiny's Child.
And they're also that was post Beyonce. Like she
that must be, right?
Like, well, we got to keep going.
It's like when Lindsey Buckingham left Fleetwood Mac. They had to get 2 guitarists to fill in for him live. It's the same with Beyonce. You got to get like 3 other women in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what the song sounds like. We got to blast into this music video because we're talking too much about the Charles Martinet.
Yeah. All right, music video.
The music video shot in downtown Los Angeles, if you can believe it. Features Kermit Bakar of the Pussycat Dolls as one of the backing dancers. Kermit the Frog, that's right. Kermit. Carmi, maybe? I don't know if she's French or something. One of the Pussycat Dolls. Filmed in downtown LA. Directed by Jake Nava. And if you were one of Jake Nava's fangirls, you'd be a Jake Navajo. British director. I had that one on. I just had to, I know it wasn't the best, Alex.
You had to do it. I
had it. It was just right there. He's a British director. He did music videos for Beyonce, Arctic Monkeys, Adele, Britney Spears, and the Rolling Stones. He also did ads for Guinness and Levi's. He's a guy. Beyonce says of this music video, it celebrates the evolution of a woman. It is about a girl who is at the point of a relationship. She realizes that she is in love. She is doing stuff she would not normally do, but she does not care. Does not matter. She is just crazy in love. You might notice that sounds exactly the same as her description of the song itself. Yeah. Yeah. What do we think about this music video, Alex?
I don't know if it has all that story stuff. I mean, it moves through mostly focusing on Beyonce, and I guess she does do some crazy stuff because we do blow up a car later on.
Yeah, well, that's the crazy thing is that through the shots, it's implied that Jay-Z is blowing up Beyonce's car, and then it's a reveal that she's still alive.
She's fine. Yeah, so it's a little unclear what's going on there.
And we do say Jay-Z in the back of the car at the start, wearing a hat.
Yes, we do. And then you kind of get this, like, it's not fisheye lens, but it's kind of like Vaseline on the edge, like outside of the lens camera.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Racing through the streets as he is doing his hype stuff in the back of the car. Right. And then we kind of zoom in up on Beyonce, who is strutting, I would say. Yes, she's strutting.
I would say that's a strut.
Down the street, and then starts to
finds like a warehouse to start dancing on.
Yeah, a warehouse, and like goes up on a thing. And then like dances mostly like.
Yeah, she like, does this like fake out. Kind of, yeah, she hits the deck. You're like, oh my God, Beyonce's fallen. And she's like, that's what I meant to do.
No, this is the dance.
And my only thought after that was like, they must have really like scrubbed that fucking wood deck clean. I can't imagine doing the kind of dances she's doing on her hands and knees on like an actual warehouse. Like,
oh yeah, it looks like they put like something down because
it looks like there's like a smooth dance floor put on top
and
of
like
it.
Shiny and like you don't get that in like an industrial park. Like,
no,
that shit would be scuffed up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that bit. She dances in front of this warehouse again, mostly like on the ground. Feels again very early 2000s. That's kind of to me.
This is the vibe. Doing dances, wearing clothing, wearing scant clothing.
Yeah, and like red high heels.
Red high heels. Yeah, she does some of these dances in heels, which, like you mentioned, a lot of it is her rolling on the floor, but also like sometimes she's got to use those heels to like propel herself, and that's a tough thing to do. But we then get propelled onto the top of a building.
Yeah,
she's surrounded by these like stage lighting things
and like cameras. I think.
Yeah,
they seem to be flashing at least, and she seems to. It's like a photo shoot now. It's the evening, and she's like posing and stuff.
Yeah, we do see a camera like get a boner around like 58 seconds maybe.
We see through a camera lens. very briefly. Oh, she's also wearing like fashion now.
She's
Like,
wearing
it's
fashion. She's got a
clothes.
different haircut.
Yeah.
And then boom, we cut to her and her friends as we get into verse 2.
We do. And they've got she's got a whole posse of dancers. The outfits are now a lot more 2000s urban chic.
Yes.
This is, I mean, my sister did dance when she was young, and like they did like hip hop dance sometimes.
That was
this
like
is exactly
big.
the kind of thing they would have to wear. More or less.
Because right around this time,
yeah.
I do remember like going to school and they'd be like, "We've got some people to teach you hip hop dancing today." It's like we hired some people from out of the school. Like it was like, okay,
yeah, okay, and then we did. Not exactly like this. There's a lot more hip rotations in this dance than we would have done.
This is very much more emphasizing ass shaking than
than
what I learned in elementary
gym
school.
Class in elementary school. But yes, they're dancing. They're in a back alley now. She blows a bubble with gum at one point. It's a lot more. I mean, you talk about the like evolution. I think this is maybe the representation of the younger part, and then she's kind of moving into the maybe, I don't know.
I thought she was just blowing bubblegum to be provocative.
I don't know. I just think of chewing gum and blowing bubbles as like the younger things, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But she's growing up, I guess, and doing things in the evening instead of during the day.
I guess because we do cut her in the back of that same car that Jay-Z was in at the start.
Yeah.
With darker, moodier lighting. She's just kind of freaking out in there.
I guess the other thing, she says like, "Oh, I don't care what I'm wearing," but this is clearly like just different type of fashion.
She's well dressed in every shot.
She's hanging out with her friends. Do they show their feet? She should be wearing tennis shoes. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, no.
But yeah, it's that. Yeah, this is like hip hop style, particularly at the time.
Yeah, so
there's like some shiny stuff.
We get her in the back of the car, and this is the extended shot of us believing that Jay-Z is going to explode Beyonce.
Yeah, she's in the back of this car.
Yeah.
Very close to the camera lens.
Yeah.
And then, he like drops a lighter on a line of gasoline.
Yeah, we get a shot of him like face silhouetted. We only really know it's him because he's wearing the same hat.
Yeah.
And then, he lights the Zippo, drops it on the ground.
And the car blows up. It explodes.
And we're like, oh my God.
Like he killed Beyonce. But no, she's fine. Maybe he killed the old Beyonce and she's becoming a new person.
Oh, maybe. And maybe that's your bubblegum coming into play there, Alex.
And also, and then she comes back. But she's got fur. Presumably chinchilla. And she kind of dances around him as he does his verse.
Yeah. He looks back at the burning car and he's like, oh, shit.
Because he blew up a car.
Exploded a car.
After that verse, we get a few new scenes. In particular,
her vandalizing a fire hydrant.
A fire hydrant and then dancing. Mostly posing, actually, in like the water showering down.
Yeah.
She's quite moist here.
Yes.
And then also another similar alleyway scene, but not exactly the same. There's like a big fan in there.
Yeah, like
and
a big
wearing,
industrial
dresses.
Fan.
But it
one
seems
of the number one obstacles for like video game platformers of the, the 1990s and early 2000s.
I mean, Fatima and I were just playing It Takes Two and had a very similar experience having to stop a fan and walk through it.
Hell yeah, a great game. Terrible plot. Great game.
Sure. Yeah, it's very like exaggerated and cartoonish.
And of course the book has a very stereotypical accent.
Just started it, so
okay. Good. It's a great game.
Those guys just put out a new thing.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called now.
It's called Split Fiction.
Split Fiction, yeah. So that's something. Heard it's pretty good.
I believe it is. I'm probably going to pick it up soon, so Greta and I can go through that. We went through It Takes Two a couple years ago now. Good shit, Alex. Good on you for playing that.
Yeah.
Great game. But yeah, not happening here. We just got Beyonce and the Beyoncettes dancing in front of it.
Yep, dancing in front of this fan in a similar alleyway to before, but now in like evening dress. Colorful evening dress.
Kind of like Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Machine Gang color-coded.
I wonder if they're on purpose doing throwback because she was like horns in this century, and then now she's like, well, I guess I'll do a throwback. And I'm going to look up when Goldmember came out.
Oh, yeah. 2004 is my bet.
Because she was in that 2002, so she had already done 70s throwback in Goldmember.
Right.
Prior to this, so that's interesting. I'm not sure exactly what to make of all this, but it does feel like a bit of a 60s throwback with the colors.
I wonder if she was like, I don't want to do throwback stuff then. She's like, I don't want to get Mike Myers involved in my music video. Sure. Maybe he was a real pain to work with. I don't know.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
I doubt that. I feel like Mike Myers would be a pleasure.
I don't think their outfits look 60s throwback other than the colors.
The color scheme, yeah, is very 60s throwback. Like I said, it looks kind of, you've got orange on her like Velma. There's a lot of Daphne purple and some shaggy green.
Shaggy green.
You're just missing Scooby Brown and Fred White.
Well, he also had blue and...
Yeah.
But anyway, there's no Fred here. But they danced that for a while. And I mean, it switches a bit. It's mostly that, but there's a little bit jumping back to the other alleyway with the fire hydrant. But yeah, the end is mostly just them dancing in front of the fan.
Yeah, mostly just fan dancing. And cuts of her in the back of the car again.
Oh yeah. Is that her
is
coming to terms with the craziness?
Because she's fanning the flames of this love with an industrial fan.
Yeah, with an industrial fan.
That's how it works. That's the music video, folks. If you were alive, you've probably seen it before. But we got to get talking about covers.
We do.
But first, a short break.
Again,
we're back. Talking covers of the hit song Crazy in Love by Beyonce featuring Jay-Z, starting in the year of our Lord, 2004, with Patrick and Eugene.
Got me looking so crazy right now. Your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your touch has got me looking so crazy right now. Got me hoping you page me right now. Your kisses got me hoping you save me right now.
Patrick and Eugene, or as it is listed on title, Patrick, Eugene.
Eugene.
But they do seem to be a group called Patrick and Eugene. We did talk about them a while ago.
A couple times.
Okay, I was having trouble finding them. I do see we talked about them for I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor.
Yes.
Oh, and Can't Get You Out of My Head.
That's correct.
And Not Purple Haze.
Not Purple Haze.
That's coming up in my search anyway. But yeah, so
I looked up
them.
Eugene and it gave me a different one, and then it was a guy named Eugene on that.
Just a different guy?
You gotta fish through it.
Okay.
But yeah, Patrick Dawes, the drummer for Groove Armada, and Eugene Bezotis of The Trudy.
The Trudy. Groups that I am not familiar with.
I'm familiar with Groove Armada.
Groove Armada. It's a cool name.
It's a great name.
But these are like, it's UK based artists. According to Wikipedia, they are compared to Monty Python, not because they're funny, but because they are uniquely British.
I could see that. I don't know why they need to be compared to Monty Python for that, necessarily.
Well, because sometimes you only have so many cultural touch points.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, and that's how they sing this one for sure, or largely talk it. Right. The verses are spoken with a very British affectation on them.
Yeah, and it's also got the what would you call the style? They do horns and stuff.
Swing revival, baby.
Swing revival? Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Maybe, but also with a little bit of dance sensibility. The drums are very boom bap style.
Okay.
Very heavy hitting in that sense. And the horns are sassy. I don't know what you'd call them.
Yeah, because there's a saxophone and it squeaks a lot.
Yes.
That's a big part of the sound of this one. They have horns. They do the intro riff. Everything is shifted down.
Yeah.
Because they don't sing as high, presumably.
To accommodate, our local lower vocal range.
Local vocal range?
Our local vocal range, which is lower.
So deep in your eyes. You really get the accent when they are talk singing.
Yeah, and I think that's good. I think the verses on here are totally good. It's, at least vocally, you got enough character in that vocals. It makes up for the lack of actual singing.
Yeah, and it really like drops down to sort of the drums mostly in that part, with like a bit of saxophone sometimes, I think. Mostly drums.
Yeah, some little like
Bit of
horns,
sax.
mostly drums, similar to the original. And the drums,
Yeah.
I think, are done well here. Patrick Dawes, I think, is a good drummer.
Yeah, does a good job. Like you kind of said, there's like a bit of swing in there.
Yeah.
So it's a fun sound. And then they kind of get like really shouty on the chorus. That's
and it
it's kind of,
really feels like they're straining.
I mean, look at that crazy right now. It's very monotone, very like a little distorted. Yeah, and that's kind of the sound they have on there.
Yeah, it falls apart for me on the chorus. It just feels like they're pushing against their vocal range and not really getting like a powerful shout out of it, or
yeah, it doesn't necessarily feel like a powerful shout. That's true.
It's it kind of hurts to listen to that part, but I did think the verses were all right.
Yeah, they also have an instrumental section about 2 minutes in. It starts with like a slide whistle or something.
Yeah.
And then like drum solos for a bit, and then just gets into sax solo. Like I said, very squeaky saxophone.
Yeah, sounds like somebody's making a balloon animal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's very. I mean, they have a distinct sound, right? And I think it works.
Yeah.
They skip some of the lyrics. They don't do the Jay-Z verse.
Yeah. Almost nobody does Jay-Z this week.
Yeah.
In fact, does anybody?
I don't
know
think
off the
top
so.
Of my head, I don't think they do. But yeah, I think it's a good arrangement, like good sound. It's probably like their sound. They do it. It sounds nice. Kind of got this old school swing thing. Sort of the like, what's the word I'm looking for? I just want to use like a British word, but it's like, hang on. The word's on the tip of my tongue. Chips.
Hot chips.
Cheeky. Mate. It's almost got that like carnival surrealism to it.
Okay, yeah.
You know? Like this would fit in with like steampunk.
Yeah,
It's not really, but it would work.
Now you've got me chasing a word that maybe doesn't exist. Because I see what you're saying, and I feel like it should have a term.
And it does. Is it twee?
No, twee is more cottage core.
Yeah, okay. It's not quite there. But
not
it's the
twee.
The kind of like this would work. Like, do you remember the movie? Of course you do. Thunderpants.
Oh, of course I remember
the aesthetic
movie
of that movie.
Right.
And also kind of Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, something in that range. Yeah, like kind of leaning more Tim Burton in terms of
where it's like it's like surreal children's novel, children's book adaptation. That's
edgy
colorful.
Theater kid kind of. Yeah, I can see a bit of that.
There's got to be a word for that. I feel like there's a word for that, and I can't remember right now.
If you know the word, page it to us.
Page it to us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's most of my notes on this. I feel like if we tightened up the chorus, we'd have something really nice here. But what's here is still pretty good, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe a little less balloon horn. We're reaching a little bit. It's not too bad. It still sounds like we're playing a horn. It's pushing the limits.
Mm-hmm.
But we're about to push the limits of soft indie ballads with Novi Split in 2007.
Split.
You got me looking so crazy right now. Your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your touch has got me looking so crazy right now. Kinda hoping you page me right now.
Californian solo project of this guy, David Jerkovich.
David Jerkovich. I would have just named my band.
Yurkovich.
It could be Yurkovich. I would just name the band Jerkovich because that's a way cooler name.
I think so too. You could even split it into two names again. Jerkovich. There's
a lot to work with there. Apparently, the name comes from some story of a friend of his who was like, "We're gonna fucking march down to City Hall in San Pedro and declare it to be renamed Novi Split, dude, for the Croatians."
For Croatians, you call it Jerkova.
Jerkova. Now we're getting somewhere.
I'm still on the last thing. What's this about?
The Croatians?
Croatians?
So Novi means new, and Split is a city on the Adriatic coast. In America, we have a large concentration of a certain people in one place. You name the city after them: Little Italy, Chinatown, Koreatown, etc. There's a huge Croatian population in San Pedro, California. One night, my friend Mike B wanted to lead an angry group of, I'm guessing it's pronounced Croats, down to City Hall to declare San Pedro be renamed Novi Split. And a story always stuck in my head.
Okay. Cool.
I think it's a good enough story for a band name.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm all about Balkan identities.
Hell yeah. I'm all about Balkan season, my dude.
I'm just going to flex over here briefly as we talk about lo-fi indie pop.
Lo-fi indie pop, yeah, plussed up, like, sad piano stuff here, basically. We've got close mic singing from our dude.
Yeah, a lot of slow guitar. It's, like, clean but echoey.
Yeah.
He strums at first and then starts to pick and then does both.
Yes.
It does like bring in a beat though, right? Like it starts with
some
just that.
very like off percussion. Like it's almost auxiliary with no main running line through it. Like it'll just accent certain phrases and it's not typically like an accent you'll hear. It'll be like 2-3 notes here, it stops. It's very interesting.
There's a lot of like ba ba ba, and I think it changes to more like a ba ba.
Yeah.
So it's like just a bit.
Yeah, it's just a bit. It's very sparse.
Yeah, it's not like a rock beat or anything.
And he lets things like echo out too. There's like a big hit and it'll go like... I think a moody approach to the song works overall.
Yeah, it does work. It does a pretty good job of like starting very simple and then doing a decent build. It still stays pretty sparse. I do like how it builds because it kind of like builds the madness, you know?
Yeah.
Like we build the crazy for the end. It's not like cacophony, but there's a fair amount going on by the time you get to the end, right? Like it adds in strings.
Yes.
It adds in strings and
we added
like more
bass
drums.
About halfway through, more drums.
And like you said,
there's like a bridge. Is the bridge done with accordion?
Is there accordion on there?
Let me see if I can find it. I should have time-stamped it.
Oh, yeah, it could be. It definitely sounds like something reedy. It could also be like woodwinds. So
a lot of textures here. It's a very rich, like down-tempo version, and like you said, that build is appreciable. And yeah, it builds to the not a cacophony, but we feel movement if nothing else.
Yeah, it's a lot denser by the end.
Yeah, and tight, under 3 minutes.
It is. There's a few like quick ones because if you cut out some stuff and you cut out like the Jay-Z verse, then like
you're left with a pretty like almost like 70s style, even 60s style pop song is what's left over. You know, especially 305.
No intro, like all the Jay-Z stuff gone. Like there's quite a bit of time you save.
Yeah, especially because a lot of that intro too is just to let you hear the horn sample and get accustomed to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so with no horn sample to celebrate or imitate, we've got a lot of room to chop. And this version was pretty decent. So we moved from Novi Split into the Puppini sisters in 2007.
Got me looking so crazy right now, your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Got me looking so crazy right now, your touch got me looking so crazy right now. Got me hoping to page you right now, your kiss got me hoping to save you right now. Looking so crazy in love, got me looking so crazy in love.
Yeah, another group. I didn't even look up all the stuff we've talked about them on because we've talked about them a few times.
I think it's only twice. I looked it up and it was Bitch Better Have My Money and Walk Like an Egyptian.
For some reason. We talked about them more recently though, I think.
Did we?
Only because I'm pretty sure we watched a music video where they were running through like a park.
You're thinking of a different band, same energy.
Oh, same idea, but not.
Also 3 women.
You're right.
Also these kind of old-timey covers, but not the Puppini sisters.
Okay, for some reason I always remember this group. Don't know exactly why. They do a 50s throwback thing. They're like burlesque revival 50s throwback.
Mm-hmm.
I only say burlesque revival because that's what their Wikipedia page says.
I'd believe that. They're not sisters. I'll tell you that as well.
They're not. One of them is called Puppini. They have changed one member a few times.
Okay, yeah, I can see if you go to their artist page on Tidal, it's definitely burlesque.
Yeah.
As you can see, because they got them out. They got their ladies out.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, that's maybe we're missing an element of this version then if we don't have visuals. If they're
I did watch a live performance of it, and they do play instruments.
Okay, interesting.
And sing. But
do they show a little bit of leg, like just the ankle?
Just a little bit of leg? I don't remember, actually. I closed the window. Oh, no, here it is. Yeah, I mean, from the, below the knee. Their dresses go below the knee, so.
Okay, so you can't really reveal the ankle because it's already out.
You can see some ankle.
You can see some ankle. Yeah, these guys were also guest vocalists for Bublé's cover of Jingle Bells, which we've not talked about, but Michael Bublé, Burnaby legend.
Burnaby legend, yeah.
Burnaby legend, dude.
What happens in this one? So they have slightly different instrumentation, but it's like a throwback and it's very fast.
Yeah, we open with, is it a harmonica on this? No. Accordion?
This accordion.
This is an accordion, yeah.
Yeah, one of them plays the accordion, one of them plays the fiddle, and then the other one also plays something.
Yeah, well, we got maybe, because there's like a bouncy rhythm guitar on this, there's drums.
Yeah, very bouncy. You get that kind of like, I guess, walking bass line, but it's very fast, so it's very like oompa on the beat.
Yeah, is it a walking bass line?
Oh, maybe it's not. No, it's not.
It's sometimes things sound like a walking bass line. Yeah, this one, which does this descending pattern. Dun, 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 dun. So it sounds like a walking bass line.
Which probably
it has the same pattern, but it is not a walking bass line.
Right. But it's just so fast. But you're right, it's not a walking bass line. They also do that they do this like backbeat strum on the acoustic guitar, and the fast guitar strumming, which I probably has a name, but again, I just always hear it in gypsy jazz music.
Yeah. If only there was another genre we could associate it with.
Another name we could use.
There's almost a polka-ish vibe to that kind of guitar rhythm. It's a little oompa.
It is a little. It's all a little oompa.
Yeah.
So that works out just fine.
And yeah, they really old-timey it up vocally as well. We hit the and it's not it's wah-oh.
Yes. They got that. The other thing they do is they slow down on the bridge. They're all singing and harmonizing through most of it.
Yeah.
This part is where they slow it down. It's like slow jazz for a bit.
Yeah, and this is what I liked, because I get bored in these 3-part harmony songs. I'm like, okay, I get it. You guys can all sing together really tight. What else can we do?
Consistent, right?
Yeah. And so when we hit that breakdown in the bridge, I'm like, oh, okay, now we have something a little more interesting.
Yeah. And then they're all singing the bridge, different parts of the bridge.
Yeah.
Or I think at least 2 of them sing different parts.
Yeah, I think you're right. We get to share some of the lines,
Yeah, and then we speed up for the end again.
Yeah, of course we speed it back up. And I don't mind it being fast. I think there's some goodness to being fast. It emphasizes the craziness.
Yeah.
This one, these versions, especially these throwback ones, though, I always think of Postmodern Jukebox, and I'm like, it's boring. It's hack, I feel, at this point, to be like, we're doing a throwback.
Just do a throwback.
Was it hack in 2007? No, probably not. It's probably fresh and exciting.
Probably not. Speaking of throwbacks.
Yeah, you want to talk about the baseballs in 2009?
Let's talk about the baseballs in 2009.
Got me looking so crazy right now. Your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your touch has got me looking so crazy right now. Got me hoping you page me right now. Your kiss has got me hoping you save me right now. Looking so crazy, your love's got
also 50s throwback. We have talked about the baseballs.
Oh shit, have we?
Backstreet's Back. They did cover Backstreet's Back.
Okay.
Everybody, Backstreet's Back. They're a German 50s throwback group. And it's basically like a whole band of Elvis impersonators.
Yes.
Like 50s rock style.
Yeah, we had a
Elvis voice.
similar group a couple weeks back.
Yes, there was like a Scottish or Irish group or something that did Elvis stuff. We have talked about these guys, and it's kind of weird because everyone is Elvis.
Everyone's Elvis. And yeah, it's anytime you take something that the music they're covering is so American.
Yeah.
and then you're putting it through this German lens, things get a little like funhouse mirror wise, like things get a little warped. And I think that's like, I do rate these kind of versions higher because of that, because there is an otherworldly quality to them.
Yeah, it's definitely like kind of like in some ways too polished, and in some ways like, why did they pronounce that way? Like,
yeah,
it's like a bit surreal.
Yeah, and it's like you wouldn't hear these kind of things in Elvis music, so why are they Elvis impersonators?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's just like general 50s throwback, not just an Elvis throwback, but they're doing the Elvis voice.
Yeah.
This one I think does actually have a walking bass line.
Yes, it does. We do get a authentico walking bass line here. We got
they
a very
also
energetic
do like a
start.
harmony, right?
Yeah. So they're all harmonizing at the start as we get these like big stings. Damn, got me looking so crazy right now. Damn, got me looking so crazy right now.
So crazy right now. And there again, a little bit Elvis.
Yeah. It comes in more once we come to the verses. You're like, oh, they're doing Elvis.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, you get the like. I mean, they get into like the walking bass line, the bum 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 bum, as like their guitar starts to kind of solo, and it's sort of like jangly.
Yeah, it's jangly, very electric, and they're doing these big like choir stuff.
Yeah, and like similar to the Puppini sisters, they got their backup vocals. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, what, big harmonies on those, or harmonies on those. Similar thing, but it's like they're both fast, but this is like the rock and roll style one.
Yeah, I'd say these guys are much more dynamic in their presentation than the Puppini sisters.
The Puppini sisters, they do have that. They're like chewing it up a bit more, right?
Yeah.
It's fun.
And they add in new elements because we kind of break from this big, large, like choir and uh-ohs to just the one dude singing, and then this like snapping, like still carrying the energy, but a little more like quiet in terms of volume. And then we get like a muted guitar that starts to strum in. And then that guy who goes really deep, 3 times in a row.
I don't even remember all the things they say. I remember going down low.
Yeah. So there's a lot to like keep you engaged and keep you interested in. It's like, okay, the song's going through movements rather than the kind of like steady, stable Puppini sisters throwback.
Definitely like their harmonies felt a lot more even. Whereas this, I mean, maybe just because they're going for like the rock and roll thing, it's got to be more dynamic.
Yeah.
And like, Elvis danced with his hips, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's different. It's a different style of dancing. It's a different attitude. And they have this attitude, this rock and roll throwback. The other thing that's interesting about it, though, they also slow down for the bridge and do this like rock ballad thing for a bit. With a lot of violin.
Hell yeah, dude.
So it's interesting how similar the Puppini sisters and the Baseballs are, like, from a descriptive standpoint.
Yeah. It's good shit, this one. I enjoyed this one.
So crazy, my baby. And I do love hearing the, like, Elvis accent, but also it's a German accent. That's just, like, very fun.
Who she thinks she is? Talking to all my friends Elvis, and
they. Yeah, that's what I got for this one, though.
Yeah, love these guys. Let's move on then to Zachary James in 2022.
Yeah, an actor, apparently a relatively successful, popular Broadway actor, primarily.
Yeah, he was the original Lurch in the Addams Family.
The Addams Family musical, so that's something.
And he had a small role in 30 Rock.
Apparently, yeah, he's like on TV sometimes, but like not like like a big guy. But also, then he's like huge on Broadway, apparently. And there's something, he won an award for like Performer of the Decade or something.
What the hell?
Like, he's apparently really popular.
Yeah, he's one of those, I guess, like, you have
to be... Vocalist of the Decade and Performer of the Decade for the years 2010 to 2020.
According to whomst?
Broadway World.
Okay, that seems like his zone.
And he got it for his solo show, which is called On Broadway.
On Broadway.
Anyway, apparently he's a big deal. I don't know.
Yeah, this is not the version I would expect from those accolades.
No, from like, he's like a vocal guy, right?
Yeah.
This is so different. And it's also, with one, it's very short, just over 2 minutes.
That's right.
But it's like, it almost feels like a transition. Like, I didn't listen to the rest of the album, which is called Intergalactic, but it feels like we're going from Slide Away to Cry.
Right.
Like, it
by
feels,
way of this
yeah.
2-minute transition.
Exactly. Like, we never really get into like a song.
Yeah, because it's just Got Me Looking So Crazy Right Now and Love Got Me Looking So Crazy Right Now. That's vocally all we get.
It's just the chorus, right?
And it
it's
sounds
him
good.
harmonizing.
He's layered it a few times. Yeah, he's harmonized it.
There's like a xylophone. It brings in a flute.
Yeah, we get so many of these like weird instruments doing like this.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed those sounds.
It's cool sounds. It just feels like it's a sample that's going to be used in something else. Like it's an intro or an interlude.
Yeah,
on
almost
another
like
song.
you're just getting the instrumental or backing track.
Yeah. It's interesting though.
Yeah, it's interesting. I enjoyed it. 2 minutes. It's kind of hard to dislike it.
True.
And I like the tones. I like those flutes that come in. I like the
There's a
sort of
cello down.
haunting xylophone. There's some like chime elements.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's a xylophone or like a glockenspiel.
Yeah, a
that kind of thing.
vibraphone of some
feels-
kind.
Sounds metallic to me. But,
Yeah.
could be like, tubular bells, although I think those are bigger.
Yeah.
And the flute might be like a mellotron or something, because it sounds like it could be that. It's a little tapey. And then there's like a bowed cello or something later on. So yeah, like I said, kind of sounds like a transition. Sounds like maybe unfinished, but like it's not bad.
Yeah. And it's like, if this is the unfinished one, like maybe the finished one would have been too much musical theater,
Yeah,
trash for my taste. So
maybe he's a real musical theater guy.
he's a musical theater guy. But he doesn't even have the shortest version this week.
No,
Because that belongs to Mandy Jones and Nikko Mad in 2023.
Got me looking so crazy right now, your love's got me looking so crazy right now. Got me looking so crazy right now, your touch got me looking so crazy right now. Got me hoping you peach me right now, your kiss got me hoping you save me right now. Looking so crazy in love, got me looking so.
yeah. Nikko, let's see. We got Mandy Jones. Mandy Jones is not a British former racing cyclist.
No.
Seems to be a singer.
Yes. And producer.
And producer.
Who covers
Explorer?
Spanish. Yeah, Explorer.
Eclectic Soul?
Maybe.
I'm looking at Mandy Jones Music Instagram page.
Okay. I looked at, does she cover Spanish and English classics? Because I wound up looking at her Spotify page to get her.
That'd probably be right. This one just says 80 countries.
80 countries.
3 million plus streams, 80 countries. Pilot A Creative.
Pilot E.
Anyway, don't know. It's one of those people, or maybe that's the same person. Little unclear.
Maybe. Hard to say, but Nikko Mad is responsible for those chill house songs and remixes you've heard, but you're not sure where.
Yeah, the Chill House King, again, according to
Chill
Instagram.
House King, of course.
Oh, and I also see Spanish language on here, so maybe... that doesn't
So
mean
this is
anything.
like, I guess this is Chill House.
Yeah, this is Chill House. And yeah, it is that. It is chill, It in the sense that everything like stays filtered down.
Yeah, everything's screwed down like an octave. If it's Mandy Jones singing, like, she's been pitch lowered quite a bit.
Yes. It sounds pitched down, and presumably is Mandy Jones.
Yeah.
And this kind of speeds everything up, but like the way it starts, which is like the refrain section, no. So like that with a beat, that's kind of like your main dance part, right? They play that, and then we'll go into the verses, and it just like zips through them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm begging you not to go.
And it's like heavy kick drum, and then very like in the back ambient synth.
Yeah, like alternating kick with like a cymbal, or I don't think it's a snare, but the higher sound.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then there's some ambient synth, you know.
Yeah. You get a more
Some of
like
that
kind of
stuff.
xylophone-ish one in around 30 seconds, sort of trop popped.
Yeah, almost like choppy, but like more filtered down.
Yeah.
It does do the bridge, kind of cuts down to the drum machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vocals sound weird because they sound sped up and also pitched down.
And also pitched down. Yeah, it's a very it's a common sounding effect. Like the vocals don't sound like
Sure.
something I haven't heard before, but yeah, it
That's
is
true.
weird when you parse out the two steps. You're like, well, they kind of fight against each other.
Yeah, it is unusual. Well, it's not unusual, but it sounds kind of funky.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think there's like a soft guitar that comes in near the end,
Yeah, near the end.
but it's very short. There's not much. It's like fast, really filtered down for the most part. That's the chill house, I guess,
Yeah.
that we're boarding in.
What if they made a spin-off of House MD and it was Chill House MD?
Chill house. And he was just always on Vicodin.
Yeah, it's
But
where he
even
gives
more
into his
Vicodin,
drug
yeah.
addiction and he's just like much
just-
more easy to be around.
Yeah. He's just chill.
It's just
Everyone
Chill House.
gives him the Vicodin.
We'll pitch it. It might actually get a couple seasons. But first, we got to break things down to our final
We
verdicts,
do.
of which there were 3 categories today. The worst version, the best version, and you guessed it, the craziest version. 2 songs about being crazy this month. 2 songs that mention trains.
What does
Couldn't
that
find a
mean?
way to get them all together, though, you know?
How do we combine everything?
Yeah, just couldn't quite land on it. But Alex, what's the worst version this week?
What is the worst version this week? That's a good question. You know, I'll probably do this last one we listened to. Didn't do a whole lot for me.
Okay, fair.
Pretty straightforward. I didn't really feel like I could. I mean, maybe it's not dance. I don't know exactly what Chill House is supposed to do.
I guess it's for when you're in like a house
And you're
and you
chilling.
want to chill out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't love it. Like you were saying, like it doesn't really sound like anything we haven't heard before.
Yeah, and it doesn't like linger enough to leave a lasting impression.
No. So there weren't any parts where I was like, this is the hook. This is like
Mhm.
why you listen to it. And maybe that's the purpose of Chill House. I don't know, but
To be hookless.
to be without hook.
Without hook. Maybe.
But,
I thought maybe the hook was him going, oh.
I guess that was it, but maybe I just didn't like it.
That could be it. If it didn't hook you. It didn't hook you.
Yeah, it didn't hook me.
I didn't mind Mandy Jones and Nikko mad. And part of that is the ephemeral nature that it lasted a minute and a half. So it didn't last long enough for me to get mad at it.
True.
But of course, the Puppini sisters and their style of music and just being a little too even for me, it was kind of my worst version this week. It just didn't really stick for me properly.
Yeah, the evenness definitely is like a point against it. Because like having a direct comparison right afterwards in the baseballs of like they're both these throwback versions that do similar things in a lot of ways. Like they harmonize for the most part on the verses, and then the chorus or they harmonize in the early parts, and then they like slow down for the bridge. So like they're similar in a lot of ways, but theirs is just like a lot more successful.
Yeah, to my ears anyway. But Alex, what is the best version of this?
What is the best version of this? I really liked a few of them. I did like Patrick and Eugene. I liked Novi Split as well.
Yeah.
And the baseballs. And Zachary James was like at least interesting.
Yeah.
But which was my favorite one? I think it was actually the baseballs.
I think
It's
the
a fun
baseballs are pretty
throwback.
good.
A fun
Yeah.
throwback.
I think so. Fun throwback. It feels lively. It's got a little bit of it feels playful too, like when they're doing All My Friends and they do the different voices, like they're engaging with the song on its own terms, and that I think brings
Yeah.
out a lot. Yeah, the baseballs, best version. Alex, what's the craziest though?
What's the craziest? Honestly, the one that did like the wackiest stuff is Zachary James. Like he didn't it was not what I was expecting at all from this song, but also from like who it was. 'Cause he's like this big musical theater guy, like Broadway star, and he's just like didn't do that at all. Which you don't see very often. Like this is the only time that I can think of that we got a Broadway person that we weren't like, well, it's still a little Broadway. Like this is just not that at all.
Not at all. Yeah, he's like, I'm just going to do a song and make it like kind of dancey, kind of like a transition piece. He's like, I'm not going to highlight my vocals and really like chop it up and do some big runs or anything. So yeah, that is insane. You're right. Craziest version.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Just crazy. Well, that does it for our final verdicts. You got a different opinion, similar opinion, want to talk to us about a version we didn't talk about, hit us up on the app Blue Sky, at Snaky Me, at some Alex Wise Guy. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, suggestions for future episodes. You can also email those to us at covermepod@gmail.com. Talk to us there. Be sure to rate and review us. We are on all the apps. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube Music. We're on Amazon Podcasts. We're on Podurama, Pocket Cast, Podbean, Spotify. We're also there. Tell your friends, family, neighbors, and loved ones about us. What you can really do this week to get the word out there is Fire. Use Fire to promote our podcast. There's a few ways you can do this. A few ways I'm thinking of here. One, you can kind of lay out using gasoline, similar to Jay-Z in the video, but don't blow up a car. Just write out, cover me. And if you can't, I don't know if a QR code will work on Fire. It's worth a try. And then people will be able to see it from the sky. So do it like near an airfield if you can. And that's one way you can do it. If you're somebody who does like fire twirling or something, you could do like a long exposure shot where you've lit a stick and you can write out cover me with your movements and then people will catch it. And then again, you could try a QR code. It'll be a little sloppy with that. I had another way you could use fireworks. If you're a master fireworks technician, find a way to spell out cover me podcast and shoot a QR code and make a display out of it.
More
do
QR
like
code.
2 rounds of it though, because people might not have enough time to get their phones out on the first one.
Yeah, it's gotta last for a while.
Yeah,
people realize what's going on.
And you know, people are always taking shots and taking video of fireworks. So like, if you do this, and maybe drones. Here's the other side of that: drone shows are popular along with fireworks. And those can stay in position for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's play with fire is the promotional tactic this week. Get on it, folks. Play with fire. Always play with fire is what we sometimes say on the show, but that's the end of our episode. And as we always say on Cover Me, I still don't understand just how Cover Me can do what no one else can.